Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and this week I am doing an injury report video for you guys. Before we jump into it though, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell if you want notifications every time a new video goes live for my channel. If you do want to check out my merch store, you can do so at fantasytip.com. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, you can do so on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Thanks so much, guys. Let's jump right into it now. Let's start with John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks. And it doesn't seem like it's anything too serious for John Gibson. It seems like he's just sick, dealing with some kind of illness. So I imagine he's going to be back either next game or the game after that. Really wouldn't expect him to be out much longer than that. Then we got Eric Comrie of the Buffalo Sabres. And it seems like he's still week to week with that lower body injury. And so it looks like there's not really that big of an update right now. So until he gets closer to returning, it's going to be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen that's going to be the starter in Buffalo, with Craig Anderson getting a start every week. Then we have Frederik Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes, and it looks like he's finally back at practice, which is a very good sign. So he should be back within the next week or two, I would imagine. So that's really, really good news for you Frederik Andersen owners. Once he does come back, Peter Kochetkov probably will end up being sent down to the minors so that he can get some games in. Next, we have Sebastian Aho, and other than knowing it's a lower body injury, we don't know a whole lot about this injury. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's overly serious. He should, from the looks of it and the looks of reports, looks like he should be back within the next couple of games, but we don't know that 100%. Then we have Max Pacioretty. Not a whole lot of update with him either. He had Achilles surgery in August, and he was set to come back in early February. So as of right now, that's still the timeline I'm going with for Pacioretty to return. Then I have Alex Stalock of the Chicago Blackhawks, and he has missed the last 15 games now with a concussion. And apparently his recovery has been progressing up and down. Like some days he's feeling great and he's been able to practice with the team, and some days he's not. That's the thing with a concussion, is you never really know how long it's going to take for you to recover from it. So it seems like he might be back pretty soon, given that he has been practicing some days with the team, but he definitely is going to need the clearance before he does get back. But I think that he'll be back within the next couple weeks. Then I have Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, and obviously this is really unfortunate news for those of you who drafted him in the first round really early, but at least he's only going to be missing 4 weeks, it looks like, which would set him back for a return date of January 5th against the Vancouver Canucks. Then we have Gabriel Landeskog, who has resumed skating now, and he's also set to return likely sometime in January. Then we have Artturi Lehkonen of the Colorado Avalanche as well. They have a whole lot of injuries right now, and he's also got a day-to-day upper body injury. I imagine he returns within the next couple of games or so, and the Avalanche will definitely welcome him back in the lineup. Then we have Bowen Byram, and he's still not skating, so there's not really a timetable for him to return right now. If you need to free up some spot on your IR, he is droppable in my opinion. Then we have Zach Werenski, and he's already been confirmed to be missing the rest of the season, guys. So if you have him, drop him, unless you're in a keeper league, and even then, make sure you have the IR space. And then Adam Boqvist and Joonas Korpisalo are other injuries in Columbus. Now, Adam Boqvist has missed pretty much the entire season so far. He's only played 4 games, but it was expected that he would be back in early December. Now, early December is here, and we haven't heard anything yet regarding his injury. I think that he's a pretty good stash on your IR if you have the room for him, because he'll get that top power play time in Columbus as soon as he gets back. I'm just waiting for an update, which I'm hoping will come soon. It's getting a little bit annoying at this point. Then Joonas Korpisalo is set to miss at least a week with an LBI. And then Bertuzzi, who's having a really hard time staying healthy this year, is out 6 weeks as of December 2nd, which would put him for a mid-January return. Then Jakub Vrana is in the NHL Player Assistance Program, which can take an undefined period of time. It's minimum a month, and it could be longer than that. And he's been in that for quite a long time now, unfortunately. And there's not really any way of knowing when he'll be out or if he'll even be out this season. And then I have Evander Kane of the Edmonton Oilers, and he's skating on his own now, which is good. But he's still expected to be out another couple of months or so. And then Spencer Knight and Anton Lundell are both dealing with a non-COVID related illness. And they probably just both caught the same cold and are feeling a little bit under the weather. I expect them both to be back If not next game, the game after that. Then we have Radko Gudas, who's dealing with a concussion. And like I said before, guys, it's pretty hard to know with a concussion to know how long your recovery is going to take. And as of right now, he has no timeline. Then we have Anthony Duclair, who had Achilles tendon surgery over the offseason. And as of right now, we still don't have an exact timetable for when he's going to come back, but he definitely will return to the Panthers lineup sometime in the new year. Similar thing with Ryan Hartman. He's actually skating, which is a good sign, but still no timetable for his return to action either. Then Sean Monahan is dealing with a minor leg injury. He's missed the last couple games. He was seen before his game against Calgary wearing a protective boot on his leg, but he still ended up playing that game, so they're probably just being a little bit extra cautious with it now and just making him sit out a few games to make sure he heals up and he's all good to go for the stretch run. I'm not too worried about Monahan's injury. And then Mike Matheson's dealing with an undisclosed injury, and he's labeled as day-to-day for now, so I'm not overly concerned about that one either. And then Ondrej Palat was announced that he would miss 8 to 10 weeks as of November 8th, which would be a return date of early to mid-January. Now we have Mackenzie Blackwood, who was announced that he would miss 3 to 6 weeks as of November 8th. And that 6 weeks, which was the long end of that timeline, has almost elapsed. That's only another 10 days or so. But the good news is that he is skating at practice, so he definitely could be back in the net soon for New Jersey. Vanacek, owners, watch out a little bit. Blackwood could cut in to your starting time a little bit. Then I have Josh Norris of the Ottawa Senators, and there was a lot of concerns that he might need surgery and could be out for the rest of the year, but that's not going to happen. So he definitely will come back at some point this year. He's skating at practice right now with no contact, but still a good sign. And he's going to look to strengthen that shoulder that's injured for another 1 whole month before they reevaluate him and see if he's ready to go. And we have Cam Atkinson, who's actually medically cleared to return to the lineup for Philadelphia. So I'm not really sure what the holdup is, but I imagine Atkinson returns within the next few games. Then we have Sean Couturier, who had back surgery at the end of October, and it was announced that he would miss the next 3 to 4 months. So the earliest he'll be back is the end of January. I think it'll be later than that, personally. And then we have this scary case of Kris Letang having another stroke. Obviously, it didn't end up being anything too serious. Letang wanted to play the next game. Obviously, the team didn't let him. The doctors, they want to establish a plan so this kind of thing never happens again. But it seems like he's doing pretty well. So I would expect Letang to be back relatively soon. Next couple weeks, probably, maybe even this week. It's possible. We'll only know probably a couple of days before. As soon as that plan is established, he's going to play some hockey. I didn't put him on this list, but James Reimer is hoping to get back on Tuesday. That's pretty obvious. I think he's going to be back on Tuesday, and the sports sites already have reported that. But just in case, I'm saying it here. And then Pavel Buchnevich of the St. Louis Blues is dealing with a lower body injury. There's not a whole lot of information on it, but he is labeled day-to-day. So hopefully he's not out for more than a couple more games. Now we have Morgan Riley, who was placed on long-term injury reserve. So I believe the earliest he is eligible to come back is mid-December around now. But he's not skating. So that's not exactly something that sparks a lot of confidence. And so the timeline for his return is still unclear. Then we have Thatcher Demko, who obviously wasn't having the best season in the world, but maybe this time off due to injury could be the best thing for him, reset his mind a little bit. And his diagnosis was 6 weeks, so he should be back on January 14th against the Florida Panthers. Then we have the duo of Pietrangelo and Shea Theodore. Now, Pietrangelo is dealing with a personal matter, so I can't imagine he's going to miss too much more time for that. I don't really know what it is. Obviously, it's probably something that's really unfortunate that happened. But I don't think it's going to keep him out of the lineup too much longer. And then Shea Theodore is dealing with a leg injury. Now, apparently that leg feels better than it initially looked like it felt like immediately after that hit. Apparently he's doing okay, and he is labeled as day-to-day for now, but that is definitely a good sign, so hopefully he won't miss more than a couple of games. Then I have Nikolaj Ehlers, and on November 23rd, they finally announced a timetable for him. Before it was always... they didn't really know what was going on, but now we finally have a timetable, and it looks like Nikolaj Ehlers is going to be back probably January 6th against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then last but not least, we have 5 Washington Capitals players. And first out of those Washington Capital players, we have Darcy Kuemper, who's dealing with a lingering issue apparently. It's labeled day-to-day, So I don't think it's going to be too much longer that he's out, but they're definitely going to want to be careful with him in case the Caps do make the playoffs. They're going to want him to be absolutely 100% healthy for that playoff run. Until he comes back, Charlie Lindgren is going to continue to man the starters crease in Washington. Then we have Tom Wilson, and his initial diagnosis was that he could be back at some point in December. Now, he has been skating with a non-contact jersey, so he's not that close to returning, but definitely towards the end of the month, I think Tom Wilson could start playing once again for the Washington Capitals. And we have Dmitry Orlov, who's now skating with a full contact jersey once again, so there's a good chance that he'll be good to go for next game. We have Niklas Backstrom, who's dealing with that hip injury. And I'm not 100% optimistic that Backstrom does play this season, but if he does, won't be before at least the end of January. And finally, we have Martin Ferraberry dealing with an arm injury. He's listed as day-to-day, so it shouldn't be too long before he's back in your lineup. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed the content today, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tech.